So today, a little bit about our agenda. So if you're not familiar with delivery management, one of the add-ons that we offer, we are going to go through basically the settings and the setup and then the process of what it looks like on your iPad POS. And then we'll be going into the actual specialty integration that we have with Uber with the app called UberRUSH. And I'll go more into the details there of how that actually works with our system. So starting out with our overview and settings, as I mentioned just now, this is an add-on feature. So if you do have, for example, your own delivery drivers and your own delivery system that you want to manage within Revel, you'd want to use our delivery management feature. So you'll contact your sales rep about pricing details, how it'll work for your multiple locations if you have them. And if you don't know your sales rep, reach out to us, email us at training@revelsystems.com, and we'll point you in the right direction. So starting out with these delivery management settings, I'm looking here at a screenshot of the management console on the back end. So there's a couple things that you can do to customize this feature to make it work for your business. So capturing customer information will make sure that the iPad POS is prompted for that employee using it to add the customer to your CRM, so you can keep your customers in that database, have a history of their orders, and make reordering for them really easy. You also have a catering delivery tracking feature. So if you eventually want to deal with catering large orders, eventually maybe using invoices for those large orders, keeping track of your catering via delivery system is what you want to do there. That way you can look up on your iPad POS any past catering orders, the ones for that day, and anything in advance down the line. We also have the roles of delivery driver, and the delivery driver activates a virtual till and the delivery driver report. And you also have some things like delivery optimization, where you can actually set a maximum time limit between delivery addresses, and that's done through our integration with Google Maps. So if you have delivery A and delivery B, and the distance between those two based on these settings here is more than 10 minutes, my driver is going to take what he can and go, rather than waiting for the next order that's going to take more than 10 minutes. So it's a way to really optimize the timing so that the orders get out as quickly as possible. We'll also go into how you can set your delivery area. So you can do it by postcode. So for example, out here we're 94133. So we could deliver everything within that area code. But when you think about that, it's a lot of addresses, right, within a very large, broad area. So if you want to narrow that down a bit more, you can do what's called delivery area by GeoJSON. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second, but you can actually predefine areas on a map by drawing a little shape, and you can deliver within those areas that you set. But once again, just a few of the settings here. You won't necessarily use them all, but you do have the option to set these up. So this is GeoJSON. So the website that is actually done on is geojson.io. So when you go to this website, it'll take you to this map. And there's a couple of tools, if you see on the right-hand side of that map there, that allow you to draw a shape. So you can do lines, polygons, a square. In my example, I used a polygon to draw a specific area in the San Francisco city there. And what happens is that area spits out a code on the very right-hand side of the screen, some coordinates there. You basically copy that and you'll paste it into this delivery area by GeoJSON field. And so with that set up, if you're about to take a delivery that's outside of that area, it'll prompt you on the POS. It doesn't prevent you from actually going through with the order, but you do get that prompt to warn you like, hey, this is out of your delivery area. Are you sure you want to deliver this? So it helps you keep track of those delivery areas there. There's that field you paste it into. And then we also have service fees, which tie into this. So if you have a specific delivery fee, you of course set this up in products under service fees. And once you label it delivery fee, give it an amount, I would say the most important thing here is a service fee auto apply. So when you're setting this up on the back end, you're going to be doing the normal stuff, naming it, putting in the amount, making it apply to the order itself. But also when you select delivery as a dining type, with this setting here, the service fee will automatically apply whenever you have a delivery order. So that way it takes the guesswork out of it and it eliminates any confusion if someone forgot to apply a delivery fee. I also mentioned delivery tills, which is activated with the delivery driver role. And what the virtual till is, as a reminder, in case you already know or you don't know about a virtual till at all, is it's a way to keep track of a driver's bank while they're out on deliveries. So it's tied to an individual employee, and the cash transactions will be logged in that virtual till. So once again, it's a representation of the 20 or 50 bucks in cash that the driver is carrying around them to give change when they deliver an order. So it's a way to basically keep track of how the cash is flowing. If they had to drop because they had to, drop 100 bucks that they didn't want to carry around, they would drop it from the iPad POS and then keep the original bank amount of whatever it was, $50, let's say. This will also tie into the virtual tills report, which we'll see in a second here. But here is another screenshot of us setting up the amount for the virtual till. This is done also in the delivery management window under drivers. And the report would be, I think it's the cash office report. I'll have to double check on that. But this is what the delivery flow will look like. So on the iPad POS, we're creating a new order and we're selecting delivery. When we do select delivery, it's going to automatically apply that service fee that we talked about, and it'll prompt us to add in a customer. So when the customer list pops up, once I've highlighted that customer, making sure they have a valid phone number and address, I'll hit that button on the very right that says Add to Order. Here's a screenshot there of the order itself. You'll see the service fee automatically applied. The customer name appears at the top of my ticket, and then it's also indicating that it's a delivery order. Now, when I send that to the kitchen, it starts to cook, and now I want to go check out my delivery map, assign my deliveries. So under orders here, delivery management, this will take me to this screen here. So what I'm looking at is that Google map. So it looks just like it would at maps.google.com. And at the very bottom of that map, you have the tabs you're going to navigate through. So you have your map view, your order queue, and drivers. And on either side of that, you have your order history and driver history. So to assign the order, I'm looking at the map view here. And when an order is completed or even cooking for delivery, it'll appear on the very right-hand side of that list, highlighted in the red. So when I tap on an order, it actually highlights the route for me that's most efficient based on Google Maps, and it's telling me, how long it's going to take and when it'll be ready. So when I'm ready to assign, I select one or multiple orders, and you'll notice the Assign Selected Orders button becomes active. When I tap that, I'm able to choose from my delivery drivers here in the bottom right. Now, as a driver, when I'm assigned a delivery, I'll be accessing the drivers tab at the bottom there. Okay. So I have, X amount of deliveries ready to be delivered, and I have the option here to check out. When I check out as a driver, I have the option here, there's a little cutout window, to receive the order and route info via email or to print it out on the receipt printer. This is optional. You don't have to do this, but it does give some additional information in printed form for the driver to refer to. So I'm out the door as a driver and I go deliver. When I come back, I have the option on that same screen to check in. And checking in will initiate the closing of those orders. So that's what we're looking at here. You have our open orders that we delivered, and do I want to close any unpaid orders to cash? Because otherwise, if we had those orders that were paid for with credit card, we'll run the credit card in-house and take the receipt over for a signature. So this is most likely our cash orders here. The next screen that comes up is your mileage. So depending on if you have a reimbursement option for your drivers, this is actually set up on their individual employee profile. So this mileage is based on that route from Google Maps. So based on the route, it was 4.3 miles, but let's say it was more or less than that because of traffic or some sort of obstacle in the road. We can change the mileage so that it gives us a more accurate representation of what the reimbursement amount will be. So where does this all show up? In the delivery driver report, this is under reports, other reports. I've actually expanded down the 3 tiers of this report. So when it shows up, all you'll see is your driver's name and then some very basic information. When I expand it once, it shows me how many trips my driver has taken. And then if I expand each trip, you'll see how many orders and which orders were taken on that trip. Highlighted here kind of on the right-hand side is our estimated mileage and the declared mileage. So that was what I mentioned earlier. So the 7.37 was our estimated mileage here. And then my driver actually declared, it was a little bit more at 7.4. So if he had an actual reimbursement amount set up in his profile, we would have had the correct reimbursement amount here. Right? So that's our delivery driver report. So I know that was a quick flow, but just as a recap, we set up our delivery feature in the back end. We made sure our settings were good to go, delivery optimization, catering delivery tracking, perhaps even if I wanted to enable the delivery driver role or the delivery manager role. And then once these things are set up, I go into placing the delivery order. So from the iPad POS, I'm receiving a phone call, placing the order as normal, and being sure to select delivery as the dining option. That'll ensure that my automatically applied service fee will show up. Once the order has been sent to the kitchen and it's cooking or it's cooked, I can assign the order to a delivery driver. So on my delivery management screen, I'm selecting the orders and then choosing the driver to assign it to. Based on my delivery optimization parameters I chose, I can select and assign, the orders if they fall within that specific time range. The other thing that should be coming into play when you place the order is your delivery area. So did you set it up by postcode or did you set it up by GeoJSON for a more specified area? And then lastly, you have your driver check out and check in. Once they have all the orders assigned, they check out, they go out the door, they come back with any cash, and they check back in. And that's the basic flow through our delivery management add-on feature. Now, before I get into the UberRUSH integration, I just wanted to pause and see if there are any questions.
No questions thus far. The only question actually we did have that came up was, how do I get delivery in the first place? And delivery is actually an add-on service, so feel free to reach out to your sales rep in order to work out getting that turned on for you.
Great. So Revel ordering and delivery solution with Uber. So we partnered with Uber to form this integrated delivery solution. What I just showed you in our delivery management feature is really ideal for those businesses that perhaps have their own fleet of drivers. They have, on staff, they have, 1 to 5 drivers. They want to keep track of them all. But this is a way to track delivery right from the Revel POS and to offer delivery solutions if you previously didn't, or if you don't even employ delivery drivers. So a couple of high-level pieces of information about this is it's a way for you just to take advantage of the Uber car fleets without having to pay their fees. When you get this set up and you kind of get down into the breakdown, there's actually no revenue split. So if you think about those apps like Seamless, Grubhub, what are some others? Postmates. Those type of delivery service where you have to have an actual terminal, like you have to have a Grubhub terminal in your restaurant. They're charging 25-30%, which is common, and then a delivery fee. Whereas with this delivery solution that we've partnered with Uber with, this is integrated into your existing Revel POS. So it eliminates those other terminals. It's all done from the terminal that you're already used to with Revel. And there's no other data entry. Orders come in as a delivery order should, just through your iPad POS, and they would print if that's set up. And then you would track that delivery order right from the POS as I just showed you. It'll be a similar view as I'll show you in a second, but you're going to be using that same, map and tracking system to keep track of your deliveries through Uber. You'll still be able to report on delivery history, and you're able to update your menus, pricing, and layout in real time through your management console. So there's no middleman here you have to go through. You're still updating your menu through your Revel management console, right? So with a delivery fee, it is set up dynamically where if Uber is charging you, okay, per delivery, we're going to charge you X amount of dollars. At that point, you could potentially pass it on to the end customer, and put your delivery fee as, $3.99, let's say. And in the end, it's canceling each other out. So even though Uber's charging you, you're charging the customer that delivery fee, and essentially it comes out to zero. So you're gaining all that revenue. There are customer notifications built into this feature, as I'll show you. So if a customer is ordering through the mobile app, through custom commerce or the mobile version of your website, I'll show you what those notifications look like. As a note, UberRUSH, this integration is currently available in New York City, Chicago, and San Francisco, and it is growing. So these are the cities that they started to pilot in, these large cities, making sure that it really worked. And now that, we're at the point of expanding this, it'll start popping up in more cities across the nation. So this looks familiar from our delivery management feature I just showed you, but this is a more simplified version of it. So it's a bit stripped down, a little modified interface here, and it's basically limited to just the Uber couriers. So that's what you see there in terms of the Uber logo next to each delivery. And there's really no management of merchant drivers. Excuse me. So this is what it looks like when you select a delivery, and then you'll be able to call an Uber driver to take the order. This is what it looks like when we're about to, or actually we've actually assigned the delivery here. And at this point, there's a little button above the delivery information where I can unassign. So unassigning is totally an option. And here's what it looks like when we have multiple Ubers in the area to take the order. Some are marked as in transit. You'll see that one is marked as requested and one is marked as available. So with this available driver, I can select my order on the right-hand side and assign it to my driver. This is what order history would look like for Uber. So much like the driver history in the regular feature, with the simplified menu, you're looking at your UberRUSH driver number 3, what order that they're currently taking. So you still have visibility onto what the drivers are actually delivering. On your iPad interface, this is what it would look like when you look at the driver details of your Uber. So you have, contact information, a photo, so you know who's coming in to pick up the food, and it just gives you more visibility into who's delivering your order. Now, on the customer-facing side, so this is your end customer. If they were to place an order for your restaurant and UberRUSH was the deliverer of the food, they can receive text messages, as you see on the very right-hand side of the screen. The middle screen, they can receive an email. And on the right-hand side, you have custom commerce. So the custom commerce app, if you're not familiar, it's actually the white label app. So if your business has its own white label branded app through Revel, and your customers downloaded that, they can order through that app, through UberRUSH, and this is what it would look like on the app. So once again, text, email, and then you have custom commerce white label app visual. This is still white label here. So as an end customer, I can see my order that's in transit. and then you can track the order on the right-hand side to see where it is on the map. There's also a really powerful feature here to auto assign by prep. So based on how long the food takes to cook, or if you're really slammed and you know that it's going to take a little bit longer for the driver to be able to get the order, you can actually set up some parameters so that you give yourself some buffer times when you need that extra time for the delivery. So this is a way to save the logistical time. In the end, it is eventually a way to reduce labor costs, increase efficiency, and improve customer satisfaction in the long run. So certain orders can be flagged for auto assign. So if you don't want to sit there and manually assign orders when you know that they're done, they can auto assign. And you have a couple options here. So when you toggle, you have prep time, KDS, and manual. So for prep time is just whatever is on that individual product. So if you go into the product details and you know that it takes 10 minutes for this to cook, you would have put that in the individual product. The KDS logic is that when an order is complete and you have that KDS system, so the ViewSonic touchscreen, or if you're using an iPad for the kitchen display, when you hit complete, it'll summon the driver automatically because there's still some lag time when waiting for that driver, right? So as an example, let's say a burger takes 20 minutes to cook, and we're gonna query the Uber driver time for let's say 10 minutes. So at 10 minutes before the driver is summoned, the food is ready, and then the food is en route. So you have that buffer time to work with as well. So the prep time is available. The prep time is available for all individual products, which is assigned on the individual product level. You can also assign a universal prep time. So if you don't want to go into each product and assign it individually, you can kind of assign a blanket universal prep time. But that's what you have to work with here. So you can do it automatically and reduce the amount of time you have to think about this and do it manually. Or you can rely on your KDS logic and your prep time logic to automatically ping the driver to come pick up the food. So this is what it would look like on the KDS. So I'm looking at my kitchen display system here. I can auto assign the delivery by KDS, prep time, or manual, and input the buffer time of, it could be additional 10 minutes or negative 10 minutes. What's the difference there? So if you want to, let's say you're really busy and you're slammed and you know it's taking longer, this would be a positive number. So you want to add on 10 minutes. If you're actually not that busy and you know the delivery won't take that long, you can input that negative number there so it doesn't take as long for the driver to come. All right, so you can turn off the auto assign for any reason at any time by just bringing up the order details. So I'm on the delivery screen here. I can toggle on and off the auto assign for to delivery service. And that way I can just do it manually. And in addition to the UberRUSH, this is kind of like an add-on here I wanted to show you guys. So for online ordering, if you'd have a website set up through Revel, you actually have also loyalty integrations. So even if your customers are using UberRUSH through the mobile app, through the mobile view on their phone, or your website, loyalty is still tied to this. So you have parity between all of these features here. Past orders, reorders, this is also actually a new feature that I wanted to highlight. So not only on the website, but on the mobile view and on the app, your customers can actually order faster if they have a regular order, or they have the common thing they order all the time. They can select it right away because I've ordered it before and send it faster. So we're reducing the amount of taps or clicks that a customer has to do to actually submit an order to you. This is custom commerce, as I mentioned earlier. So this is the white label app. So even if you have an UberRUSH integration, it'll show up here. You have the past order view that I wanted to highlight for you. All right, so it looks a lot cleaner than it did before. This is what the loyalty parity looks like on the mobile app, custom commerce. So your customers can still garner rewards and gain points through mobile means. They don't have to be in store to receive those rewards or loyalty. Right? And that is the UberRUSH integration. Once again, I wanted to remind you guys, this is currently in San Francisco, Chicago, and New York, with many more cities to follow. If you're really interested in it and you're not in one of those cities, I would suggest reaching out to the sales rep so that we can kind of pass it on to the developers so that we know, which cities to target next. But I also want to take a moment here to answer any questions that have come up.
We had was a new version of the Revel app launching soon. Yes, so we released 2.22 management console very recently. I believe it was a month ago. And at this point, I believe what I've heard is that in the App Store, we have updated 2.22 apps as well. So check your updates there on the App Store. Another question that we had is, when is UberRUSH actually going to be available? It actually is, but we're still kind of piloting it. It is in beta. So if this is something that you're really interested in, simply reach out to your sales rep and they can connect you with their beta team to kind of get you up and running and testing this. Make sure that it's something that you really, really enjoy. And those are all the questions that we actually had today. So great job, Matt.
Great. Once again, everyone, thank you for joining us. You'll be able to look at our how-to videos and other webinars on our support page under training videos. Thanks again. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.